We're being led to believe that the world stands behind the policies of the US and the EU when it comes to sanctions against Russia. But the reality is that most countries want absolutely nothing to do with these sanctions. As you can see on this map, all of the countries in grey have not responded with their own sanctions. And let's take Turkey, for example. They are under enormous pressure by the West to respond to sanctions against Russia. But Erdogan is playing the smartest move possible, and that is to put the interests of Turkey above all else. And this doesn't mean that they haven't responded to the threat by blocking off Russian naval ships and condemning the invasion as illegal. But over 3,000 Turkish businesses operate within Russia. Turkey sees over 5 million Russian tourists, and the trade volume between both countries exceeds $32.5 billion US. Maintaining their position as bridge between Ukraine and Russia, like being the location for negotiation talks back in March, is a strategic advantage that not all countries have. And this puts Turkey in a very powerful position. Why would they throw this away? Turkey, like Europe, relies on Russian gas, and going cold over the winter is not something worth negotiating. But at the same time, Turkey sits in a very strategic position. They hold the key to the Black Sea. So in many different ways, Turkey and Russia rely on one another. And although the relationship hasn't always been smooth sailing, with both countries often finding themselves on opposite ends of the same battlefield, one thing that is important to note is that Erdogan and Putin respect each other as leaders. And this may not seem like much, but this is actually something very important, especially in this day and age where tensions around the world are high and the economic chess game is getting played at level intense. You need to stand behind a leader that is not only just respected by his friends, but also by his enemies. Over the past 20 years, Turkey has also been cultivating a very strong relationship with the African continent. Having just come back from a tour around Africa, Erdogan continues with a strong narrative of establishing partnerships with African nations. And Africa is in dire need of strategic partnerships, ones that are based on mutual respect and built on mutual collaboration, not just extractionist agreements like what the West has done for so long. Erdogan has also been very vocal about the state of the UN Security Council, saying in an address to the Angolan parliament that the fate of humanity cannot and should not be left to the mercy of a handful of countries that were the victors of the Second World War. A sentiment that many leaders around the world have tried to voice, but Erdogan is not afraid of saying what everyone is thinking. And thanks to more US sanctions, the relationship between China and India that for so long has been anything but friendly due to their border conflict may now be seeing the potential for an alliance or even just an understanding. With many new alliances emerging around the world and new economic superpowers coming to the forefront, Turkey sits in a very strategic position. The only question now is, does Turkey continue looking west for alliances, or do they start looking east?